Ethan is a wealthy and successful businessman who has built an empire with all his hard work and desire to conquer. At 42, he has everything a man could ever dream of: power, money, respect. But beneath that strong exterior, Ethan still longs for something that nothing else can replace: a family, a child to share his joy and legacy with. That day, Ethan sat in the examination room, facing the doctor in a heavy atmosphere. He waited for the test results with the faint hope that he could become a father. However, when the doctor gently informed him that he was infertile and that this condition could not be reversed, Ethan's world collapsed. If you want to continue following Ethan's emotional journey, from a successful but lonely man to finding true meaning in life through love and family, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We bring you heartwarming stories, honest and profound moments about life, love, and family. Don't miss any new videos. Subscribe today to discover more inspiring and memorable stories with us. After receiving the news, Ethan left the clinic feeling broken. His steps were heavy and uncertain, as if everything had suddenly lost its meaning. He got into the car, his eyes staring blankly into space. His hopes of a future, of having a child to share his love and pride with, were gone. Ethan felt left in an endless pit of disappointment and pain. On the way home, he drove without a destination, without a purpose. Everything in his life that seemed solid was now just a fragment of shattered hopes and desires. He no longer found joy or satisfaction in the achievements he had worked so hard to build. In that moment, Ethan felt his life had become meaningless, as if everything he had pursued had become futile. Ethan couldn't accept that someone like him, someone who had overcome so many trials and tribulations to get where he was today, could be so helpless in the simplest of things: the ability to be a father. Disappointment with himself, simmering anger welled up inside him. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly, his knuckles turning white from the strain. He felt angry, betrayed by his own body, by the life he thought he could control. Memories of sacrifices, sleepless nights at work, social gatherings he didn't really care about but had to attend, all flashed through Ethan's mind like a sad, silent film. He realized that during those years, he had sacrificed a lot for his career, but missed out on the things that really mattered: family, love, and connection. And now, when he wanted to find those things again, he realized it was too late. Ethan stopped the car on the side of the road, leaned his head back against the seat, staring into the endless darkness. He felt a deep loneliness, an emptiness that nothing could fill. The achievements, the contracts, the lavish parties, all of it was meaningless now. He was no longer the powerful and confident man everyone knew. Instead, he was just a lonely man, yearning to be a father, to share the joy and love of a real family. In that moment, Ethan realized that it was not fame or money, but love and family that he truly needed. He realized that life was not about accumulating wealth or power, but about spending genuine moments with the people you love. However, that realization came with great pain, as he knew that what he longed for had become out of reach. If you feel moved and want to continue following Ethan's journey, please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our videos. These stories will take you into a world of real emotions, from pain and loneliness to joy, happiness, and connection. Subscribe today to discover the true values and meaning in life. In the depths of his pain, Ethan was no longer conscious enough to sit still. He climbed into his car, leaving the city in the dark, his red eyes looking at the empty road ahead. Each street passing by seemed to blur in his mind. Everything around him was just a vague streak of light, distant and cold. Ethan drove without a destination, just hoping to find a bit of peace, as if this road would help him escape the painful reality he had just faced. But then, in a moment of loss of control, the wheels lost their way on the dark, winding road. Ethan's mind was clouded with despair, his hands leaving the wheel for a split second. The car lurched, skidding across the wet pavement and crashing into the curb. There was a loud crash, and everything fell silent. When Ethan awoke from his daze, his head was heavy, his consciousness hazy and fragmented. His body ached. The smell of smoke and gasoline filled the air, and the patter of rain on the hood of the car was a whisper of destruction. He tried to open his eyes, but everything was a hazy haze, with a silhouette of a figure in front of him. His eyes gradually became clearer, and he realized that a gentle face was looking at him. It was a woman with kind, worried eyes. She was trying to pry him out of the car. Her small but determined hands were agile and full of enthusiasm, not hesitating to face danger to help him. In that brief moment, Ethan felt something strange that he had not experienced for a long time. The feeling of being truly loved and cared for by another person. "Can you hear me?" Her voice was soft, mixed with the sound of the rain. "Hold on. I'll help you out. Don't worry. I won't leave you here alone." Ethan tried to nod, though he was too weak to respond. In his half-conscious state, he could only vaguely feel the warmth of the strange woman's hand. Along with the determination radiating from her every action, she was not an acquaintance, did not know anything about him, but was willing to risk her life for a stranger. That made Ethan's heart flutter and feel surprised. It had been a long time since he felt like he mattered to someone, even if it was just for this brief moment. When Ethan was brought into the hospital, he saw the woman still beside him, her eyes filled with worry and hope. He heard her asking the nurses and doctors for help, her voice trembling with exhaustion, but still full of determination. "Please, help him. He's badly injured." Those words rang out like a call to life in him. Ethan was rushed to the emergency room and the girl stood in the hallway, waiting and praying for him. It was Maya, a normal teacher, living in a small neighborhood where everyone treated each other like family. In that moment of crisis, Maya didn't think about the danger to herself, nor did she care who he was. She only knew that a human being needed help, and she did everything she could to save his life. This fateful encounter, for Ethan, was more than just a near-death experience. It was a resurrection, an awakening of long-forgotten desires in his heart. When he woke up in the hospital room, remembering Maya's gentle gaze, Ethan felt a strange emotion that he had not experienced for a long time. Hope. Hope for something greater. For a life where he could truly feel and cherish every moment. For someone who used to think he was the center of the universe, Maya's appearance made him realize that sometimes the meaning of life does not come from money or fame, but from the people who are truly by his side, even if only for a short moment. The desire to love, to live fully, began to rise in Ethan's heart. And he knew, from that moment on, his life would never be the same again. After several days in the hospital, Ethan gradually regained his strength. He could not forget the moments in his coma, when Maya's gentle eyes and warm voice brought him back from the brink of death. He was filled with gratitude and could not let it go without expressing it. He decided to see Maya again, partly because he wanted to thank her, and partly because her presence had left an indelible mark on his heart. When he saw Maya again, Ethan couldn't help but suggest, "I want to give you a gift, something to show my gratitude. You saved me, and I don't know how to thank you. If you can, please accept this money as a thank you from the bottom of my heart." Maya, with a gentle smile on her lips, shook her head. "Ethan, I didn't help you to get anything in return. I just did what I thought was right. Money is not something that can measure life or people's hearts." Maya's words were both sincere and humble, making Ethan feel as if a veil had been removed from his eyes. He was surprised and touched by this woman's kindness and selflessness. Maya not only saved his life, but also made him see the value of simple, sincere, and selfless things. As the days went by, Ethan and Maya grew closer. At first, they were just short meetings so Ethan could thank Maya, but their conversations became deeper. They shared about their lives, their dreams, and the hardships they had each gone through. Maya told them about her job as a teacher at a small school, where she always tried to inspire her students to overcome difficulties in life. The stories of kindness and resilience she brought to work every day made Ethan feel excited and admired. He had never met anyone as sincere, strong, and determined as her. Every time he was with Maya, Ethan gradually felt a new emotion, a joy and satisfaction that he never thought he would have. For Ethan, who had spent his whole life pursuing fame and power, these simple moments with Maya made him feel like a completely different person. Maya was not only the one who saved his life, but also the one who opened up a new world for him. A world where joy did not come from luxury, but from deep values in the heart. Ethan couldn't help but feel excited when he thought about seeing Maya. The feeling of being loved and appreciated seeped into his every word and gesture. He listened with excitement as Maya told him about her teaching sessions and the children she considered her family. He felt his heart melt as he realized that, despite her simple life, she still found happiness in her small actions. Sometimes Ethan wondered why Maya made him feel so fulfilled. Perhaps it was because she taught him the value of sincerity, of affection that was not measured by material things or personal benefits. Maya, with her simplicity and kindness, gradually changed Ethan's perspective on life. He began to realize that happiness was not just about possessing, but also about knowing how to share, about feeling satisfied when seeing others happy. And above all, Ethan felt a deep longing in his heart, a longing to do something more meaningful, beyond what he had ever known. Meeting Maya gave Ethan a new perspective on life, a world full of emotions that he had never experienced before. He began to find joy in simple things, feeling inspired and grateful when being with Maya. Hope was kindled in his heart that his life would change for the better from now on, because of the presence of Maya, a strong, sincere woman who made him feel loved and hopeful for the first time in a long time. One late afternoon, under the warm sunlight, Maya sat across from Ethan, her face filled with hesitation. Ethan noticed her hesitation and said softly, "Maya, if there is anything you want to share, tell me. I am here to listen." Maya sighed softly, then looked straight into his eyes, her voice trembling. "Before I met you, I had a relationship, but things didn't go as expected. And now, I'm pregnant." Ethan was stunned, but in a split second, the shock quickly gave way to a feeling he never thought he would feel. A gentle joy and intense hope rose within him. Maya's words were like a ray of light shining into the void in his heart, filling the loneliness he had silently carried for so many years. He took Maya's hand, his eyes gentle and full of sincerity. "Thank you for sharing this with me, Maya. I don't see this as an obstacle. On the contrary, I feel like this is what I've always been looking for. You and the baby could be the family I've longed for." Maya looked at him, her eyes filled with emotion, not expecting Ethan to receive the news with such warmth and sincerity. He not only accepted her, but also the baby with all his respect and love. The feeling of being loved and understood made her heart light up, while Ethan felt a great responsibility, wanting to be a good father, a solid support for both Maya and the unborn child. From that day on, Ethan began to dream of a future he had never dared to imagine, a real family, where he could love and be loved. He imagined taking care of the baby with Maya, of afternoons together under the sun, and of the laughter of children echoing in the warm house. That joy and hope gradually dispelled the emptiness inside him, giving him a meaning that no amount of achievement or money could ever fill. With Maya, Ethan is no longer a businessman burdened with fame and power, but a responsible and loving man. He learns to listen, to care about the little things that he never noticed before. Every time Maya puts her hand on her belly, her eyes shine with the happiness of a mother. Ethan feels the sacredness and feels his heart filled with gratitude. It is a warm feeling that he has never had before, a strong connection with the new life that is forming. Afternoons spent with Maya, talking about the future, made Ethan even more convinced that he had found the most precious thing in his life. The presence of Maya and the baby helped him rediscover himself, realizing that true happiness does not lie in luxury, but in simple and sincere feelings. He felt so lucky to have this opportunity. the opportunity to become part of the family he had always longed for. Maya gave Ethan hope for a new future, a more meaningful life, and above all, a family. His heart is now filled with hope, love, and responsibility, ready to take on a new journey where he will become the devoted husband and father he always wanted to be. As Ethan and Maya's relationship became public, the reactions from those around him were not what he expected. Ethan's family, especially his younger sister Lily, began to express doubts and even strong opposition. Lily, who had always stood by and admired her brother since childhood, suddenly thought that Maya was just using Ethan to gain access to their family's fortune. "Don't you understand, Ethan?" Lily asked, her eyes filled with disbelief and anger. "Where did she come from? A woman with nothing, wanting to enter your life after only a few months. Don't you see anything suspicious?" Ethan, who had always loved and respected his sister's opinions, felt a heavy burden of confusion and disappointment. He tried to explain that Maya was sincere, that she had no interest in money or status. But Lily remained firm, looking at Maya with a cold, skeptical gaze. This made Ethan feel extremely pressured, as if he had to choose between his loved one and the woman who had changed his life. On the other hand, Maya also faced gossip and prejudice from her community. Rumors of her relationship with a wealthy businessman quickly spread, and many people around her thought she was just looking for a chance to change her life. The gossip became more and more malicious, creeping into Maya's life every day, making her feel hurt and betrayed by the very community she once loved. The scrutiny and gossip behind her back made Maya feel more pressured and miserable than ever. She never expected that her sincere feelings would become the subject of such cruel gossip. Every time she stepped out of the house, she had to face the cold eyes of her former neighbors and friends. A feeling of hatred gradually crept into her soul as she found herself isolated and suspected for something she had no intention of doing. Ethan feels Maya's hurt, but he doesn't know what to do about it. He is torn between his love and loyalty to his family, between his desire to protect Maya and the pressure to maintain his family's reputation. He feels helpless and angry that he can't do anything to erase the prejudice people have placed on their relationship. Maya couldn't help but worry. The malicious rumors began to sow doubts about herself in her heart. She wondered if it was worth enduring all this, if her love for Ethan was strong enough to overcome the pressure from society and his family. She didn't want Ethan to suffer because of her, but she also didn't want to give up on the love she believed was sincere. Ethan and Maya are filled with negative emotions, doubts, and worries. They are faced with heartbreaking choices, with society and family acting as a huge obstacle. Both feel hurt and pressured, but at the same time, they realize that only by holding hands together, overcoming unreasonable judgments and impositions, can their love survive. As her due date approached, Maya began to feel more pain and exhaustion than usual. The pain was different from the previous ones. It was persistent and increasingly severe. Ethan, noticing the change in Maya's pale and worried face, did not hesitate to call an ambulance and take her to the hospital. The doctor quickly determined that Maya was having complications and needed to perform an emergency cesarean section to ensure the safety of both mother and child. In a brief but tense moment, Ethan stood beside Maya, holding her hand tightly, feeling anxious, but also filled with hope. He looked at Maya, the strong woman who had endured all the pressure and challenges to come to this moment with him. They shared a look of determination and love. Seemingly without words, they could feel the strength from each other. Ethan knew that no matter what happened, he would always be by her side, protecting her and the children at all costs. As Maya was being wheeled into the operating room, Ethan could only wait outside, his heart tightening with each passing second. He prayed silently, hoping that everything would be okay. To Ethan, nothing was more important than his family, and he would risk everything to protect them. Only when he was faced with this life-or-death situation did he truly understand that all his success, fame, and money were meaningless without them by his side. Finally, the doctor came out and announced that the twins had been born. Both were premature, weak and in need of special care, but full of life. Ethan breathed a sigh of relief, his heart melting as he looked at the two little angels through the glass of the special care area. The two little children, weak but fighting bravely to be with him and Maya. Feelings of gratitude, love, and peace filled Ethan's heart. This was the moment he realized that family was not just about blood relatives, but the people you love, the meaning of his life. When Maya woke up, Ethan held her hand, his eyes filled with emotion. "Maya, thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance to be a father. I will do everything to protect you and the children." Maya smiled weakly but happily, her eyes sparkling with joy and satisfaction. They both understood that from this moment on, they had a very sacred connection, a family that they had waited and sacrificed to build. Looking at the two children lying peacefully in the incubator, Ethan felt filled with excitement and happiness. He used to think he had everything, but only now, when he saw his little children, did he realize that this was the most precious treasure in his life. Every moment, every breath of theirs became the motivation for him to continue living and striving. From that day on, Ethan was no longer just the powerful man that everyone knew. He became a devoted father, a trustworthy partner, always ready to do everything to protect his family from the pressures of society or the challenges of life. He knew that the road ahead would not be easy, but he did not waver. Family became the greatest goal and meaning in his life, and he was willing to face anything to bring happiness and peace to Maya and her children. Ethan felt incredibly lucky to have this little family, a family he had never dared to dream of. In that moment, he was no longer a lonely and empty man. He had found true peace and happiness in the love and life of the people he loved most in his life. On a warm evening, the soft yellow light covered the room. Ethan held Maya's hand, looking into her eyes with all the love and gratitude. After the challenges they had overcome, he understood that this was the most fulfilling moment of his life. His heart seemed to beat as one with hers, and nothing could separate this sincere feeling. He spoke softly, his voice full of emotion. "Maya, you have given me not only love but also the family I have always dreamed of. Let's build a new life together, take care of the children, and grow old together. Will you marry me?" Maya looked at Ethan, her eyes brimming with happiness. She nodded, a gentle smile on her lips, and they embraced each other in overwhelming joy. From that moment on, they officially became a family built not just on blood, but on love, sharing, and unspoken sacrifice. The two children, the fruit of their love and commitment, were now the center of their new life, the source of motivation and joy that Ethan and Maya were willing to protect and cherish. Ethan realized that his true legacy was not in the company or the wealth he had accumulated. The most precious thing he had was his family, where he felt loved and cherished, where every moment contained joy, peace, and simple happiness. The life he once thought was perfect with money and fame now paled in comparison to the happiness of seeing Maya smile, hearing the clear laughter of his two children. With each passing day, Ethan felt like he was reborn, as if a new and vibrant version of himself had emerged from deep within. He was grateful to Maya for giving him the opportunity to experience the true meaning of life, a life filled with the people he loved. He felt blessed to be able to witness his children grow up, to see his family happy in every simple but loving moment. Ultimately, Ethan understood that his true legacy was not the material things he could leave behind, but the love, bond, and happiness he had built with Maya and their children. It was a priceless legacy that would live forever in their hearts, overcoming all challenges and enduring over time. If you also believe in the power of love and family, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to accompany meaningful stories, spread emotions, and valuable lessons in life. Let's share love with us and create memorable moments together.